Looking forward to joining.
All right, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed the Star Spangled Banner as much as I do. That is a Creative Commons public domain version of it that goes way, way back. As you can tell, it isn't any of the fancy stuff, but you don't need the fancy stuff to be patriotic and to truly believe it. You just need to have it. Well, here we are today with our guests, and we have quite the podcast ready for you. Welcome to the HEF podcast. That is the podcast of the Home Education Foundation. And boy, are we coming off of an amazing weekend. America's 250th celebration of independence. Man, does it get any more patriotic? Does it get better? I probably won't live long enough to see 300, so I sure am glad I was here for 250. Take a look around at the landscape right now. Every day, we have institutional gatekeepers, legacy media outlets telling everybody what to think and how to talk and what they can and can't say. We have overreach from regulators, telling us what we can watch and what we can not watch or say or do, how you're allowed to live your own life that you walk through with your own self-governance. And you know what? Some are well-meaning, but poorly informed. Some are well-meaning and just really bothered when your freedoms that you exercise make their job less convenient and less efficient. And some are not so well-meaning, and they just are drawn to power and positions without a deep regard for the people that are affected by the decisions that they make. History. I heard someone recently talk about the importance of history. There was a video that was circulating, and you know what? History is why we started the HEF podcast. It's why I asked Brenda early on, hey, we have to start putting this down. We have to start telling these stories from the old days, things people don't know. They can't read about it in news outlets. It's not on Fox News or CNN or any of the others. No one's talking about it. It's not even on Wikipedia. Some of these moments, these treasured moments, we keep alive through this podcast, and we'll talk about some of those. But if we lose sight of the history, those early days, the stories about parents taking their children and hiding them so that, they could teach them in secret, but man, if anyone knew, they would get scooped up. Homeschooling in fear, that's not what we do anymore. We don't have to, because Brenda and her husband Craig started the Home Education Foundation in the early 1990s, just after securing a victory in the 1980s. To get home education placed in statute, to give parents a carved-out specific right to educate their own children. And it says at the very top of Statute 1002.41 that this is not a public school district program. It is only registered with the county to satisfy the attendance requirement. Parents, the home education program is your program. And Brenda, thank you. And all of you early pioneers and moms who stood fiercely for freedom, thank you for the work that you've done. We treasure you. We do not take for granted our freedoms and our rights. We cherish them greatly. And we just want to say thank you. We want to say thank you to parents in the free state of Florida for supporting the work that we do. We are only supported by the donation and the support that comes in. That's the only method that we do. We don't have a big curriculum that we sell or any cool, mega backers from big tech or anything like that. We just have you folks. And we thank you. We also have some of our top sponsors. So these are home education people who've gone on to do things and said, hey, we want to give back. So we have Arete, FPEA, Fisher Precious Metals, and TBHC Group, and we're so thankful to have them as some of our top sponsors. Man, I'm excited. We have a wonderful panel today. I'm going to go ahead and show everyone that we have here, and we can introduce everyone. We'll start top left on the screen. We have Kim Hannon from TBHC Group. Thank you for being with us today, Kim.
Thanks
we
for
have
having
none
me.
other than the infamous, you probably already know him, Benjamin Franklin, right center top. Welcome today, Benjamin.
Good day, sir, and good day to
Yes,
everyone
sir.
else.
And we have Courtney with the TBHC Group. Kim and Courtney help host the largest homeschool conference in the Tampa Bay area. Thank you for being today with us, Courtney. Of course.
Thank you for having us.
We have none other than Bill Maddox from the James Madison Institute. Bill is an ally and a great conversationalist and a freedom-loving man. Thank you for the collaboration. And thank you especially for bringing our attention at the Home Education Foundation and HEF Connect to the America 250 project and helping us be a part of it together. It's been a wonderful experience so far. Thank you, sir, for being with us.
Oh, I've thoroughly enjoyed all of my collaborations with you guys. Think very highly of you and Brenda and all the other folks at HEF. So it's a real pleasure and privilege to be with you again today.
How was everyone's Independence Day? Was it everything that the forefathers dreamed it would be 250 years later? How did you guys spend it?
Well, for myself, we actually started the evening before at a concert here at one of the parks in the city of Tallahassee, and then we had a nice July 4th. Cooked out some ground beef and enjoyed that greatly. Believe that actually originated in one of the German states, but it was quite good, and just enjoyed the watching festivities in the streets around us.
Awesome. Lots of things went boom where I was. We had a bunch of kids. Man, we had so many kids. Like, what a diverse crowd. Some of the faces I knew, some of them I didn't even know, just homeschoolers in the mix, and they're all running around playing flag football, lighting things on fire. Like, it was wonderful. It really, truly was. Yeah. And let freedom ring, It was just, what a great moment. Bill, Courtney, Kim, how about you guys?
We actually had a quiet day at home, which was lovely after the very busy summer we've had so far. Grilling and pool and some Roman candles to end the night. So it was a good time.
Peaceful. That's great. Nothing wrong with peace, man.
So my wife and I attended the same concert that Ben was at. In fact, I saw him at a distance there in his tricorn hat. And then we spent the day with some friends eating burgers and hot dogs. And we stayed away from the wild turkey, Dr. Franklin. I know that you're a big fan of that, and we're hoping that our national symbol would be the wild turkey instead of the bald eagle. But
well, it's such a noble bird, and good to look at. It minds its own business, where the eagle will actually rob food from other animals, other birds. The American turkey is native to this land, and it provides sustenance for our forefathers, and besides being good to look at, it's also quite tasty.
Well, time will tell if you were right about the turkey, and maybe sometimes we need more turkeys than eagles. But yeah, I kind of like how powerful the eagle looks, though. But it isn't all about looks, is it? Oh boy, do we know that when we start talking about politics and legislation and stuff. Courtney, how was your weekend?
Again, we had a quiet evening. It was just our family at our house. We burgers, hot dogs, and at night we were all in the pool watching a movie on the projector machine.
Great. That is great. No!
Independence
Yes. That's fantastic. So, Bill, with the American 250 project that we're working on and the quiz game, just thank you so much for everything that you've helped put together and the way that we've collaborated on this. We took it to the Florida Parent Educators Association's convention, and we learned a lot as we were kind of letting kids come by and take the quiz and do the all the questions. It was very interesting. I think when we do it this year at the Tampa Bay Homeschool Conference, we'll have a little bit of a different setup than we did at FPEA. But I'm really looking forward to it. The kids had a lot of fun, and they loved the James Madison pins and the pocket constitutions, and they get real excited, and some of them get real competitive. It's great.
Yeah, it really is a lot of fun, and it is educational and frankly, not just for the kids, but often for the adults who walk by, including myself, I have to tell you. When we were there back in May at the FPEA convention, there was a question related to Paul Revere and his famous ride. And after the student, correctly answered the question, Dr. Franklin was there with us, and he pointed out that there were actually 3 riders. Here, you should tell this story, Ben. There were actually 3 riders, not just one.
The 3 riders, of course, was Mr. Revere from Boston, also a William Dawes of Boston. And at this point, one of the Warrens, from what I understand, he was actually courting a young woman in one of the towns outside of Boston and met up with Dawes and Revere. Unfortunately, well, Revere did spread the word to a degree before he was captured by a British patrol. But Dawes and
His companion.
Names, but they did spread the word. Word got to John Adams and Mr. Hancock, and they were able to escape from Lexington, and the arms and the supplies in Concord were taken away by the Minutemen and did not fall into the Redcoats' hands.
Very good. So you see, it's a great opportunity for all of us to have fun, to enjoy answering quiz questions, and then to have Dr. Franklin teach us things that we didn't already know. So I'm hoping that there will be a large group that comes out for the convention, takes advantage of all the many offerings that it has, including the quiz game that we plan to play there at the HEF.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about America 250. I'm excited to talk about our independence, our rights, our freedoms, and how they're hard fought for, and to spread the inspiration that we kind of get lulled into taking for granted sometimes. Just the hum of everyday life, the beat goes on, and we play the next song on the radio one after the other, and every moment ticks by, and we just lose sight sometimes of the history and the rich. There is a very, very rich history of sacrifice that has made all of it possible. And I posted about this on our Facebook page, but I was talking to my kids about the Pledge of Allegiance, and I was surprised to find that there are friends of mine who conscientiously object to saying the Pledge of Allegiance. And if you're one of those people, you're free in a free country. Okay. So I'm not throwing any shame on you, but I was struck by the red, white, and blue when I was sitting with my kids, and I started to talk to them about the Pledge of Allegiance. and, to the flag of the United States of America. And they were like, huh? You pledge allegiance to like a piece of fabric? I'm like, no, way, way more than that. It's what it stands for. 250 years ago, there was no flag. There was no. It was a dream. It was a dream, like a thought that men had, and it was tenuously held together by the patience that they had where they could sit together and listen to one another. And there's born the First Amendment, right? And on, little by little, that dream becomes paid for with blood and committed to with signatures. And little by little, now we have 250 years later. It's so far ago, and yet it's so brief a period of time. It's hard to kind of wrap your head around that. But it's beautiful. And when I think about the Star Spangled Banner and how, like the banner yet waved through that dark keyhole, porthole in the side of the ship. You could see it with the bombs bursting. You could still see that flag hadn't fallen. And I was talking to my kids about the symbol of hope that it is, the symbol of dreams, loyalty, bonds, self-governance, one nation under God. That's powerful language. There's a unifying aspect to it. And it isn't just for our own country. Whenever there are dark moments in other countries and they see our flag approaching, it's a symbol of hope to them, And I think it's more than just our flag. It is a symbol in the whole world of hope. And the idea that freedom can be fought for and bought. It is not a symbol of easy, though. I got to admit, it's not a symbol of convenience or ease. And I think that's lost a lot of times because we've got comfortable air-conditioned rooms that we sit in and argue about what's right. And we've got comfortable, keyboards that we sit behind and argue about what's right. And we post, and we lose some of the reality that comes along with knowing how we got here. And I have just been reflecting on, the 250th anniversary of our independence, and I'm filled with thanks, and gratitude for those men to pull it out of thin air and put it on paper and sign it and bleed for it. That is amazing. Like, it truly is the greatest country that our world has known, period. And I'm proud to live here. And I'll say the Pledge of Allegiance to that flag, that symbol that it's possible for everyone to have that if they'll bleed for it too. And that's it. That's my message for today.
And
please,
if I may
do.
add, with our Declaration of Independence, and in a few years, our Constitution, between the two and everything in between, we've helped form a style of government, a nation that had never been seen in the world before. Are we perfect? No. But we strive for to live up to the words that have been penned by both Mr. Thomas Jefferson and our committees at Baltimore and Philadelphia.
Yeah, I agree. And it's not just a piece of cloth. It's the symbol of the greatest dream a nation can have. The symbol of freedom, the symbol of hearts of the brave who stand in the gap to make it so, and the symbol of the wisdom it takes to make it endure. And it's a good flag. Well, all of this has also kind of gotten my lobbyist spirit like real high. Like, let's go out, let's protect these rights. I'm thankful also for Brenda, all the work that she has done, and Craig in those early days, and the representatives and the senators and the governors who listen. Having an ear, having an ear to listen to the people when they bring you their grievances and their needs, and to hear them and pin down protections for them. We believe we have those rights innately, but to have them pinned down and recognized is another thing. It allows them to be stood on and protected when others who wouldn't want to recognize them fail in their duties. Then you have something to point to and go, oh no, it's right here. And we're thankful for that Brenda and her husband Craig and all the other early ones did that. And we carry that torch today. We carry that torch, and there's a lot going on. There's a governor's race right now. I just had an interview with one of the gubernatorial candidates. I'm very excited to say next week's episode will be, we sent out invitations to all of the candidates, just so we're clear. We are not picking sides or picking favorites, and I won't even tell you who it was that I spoke with today. If you watch next week's podcast, you'll know. But we sent out an invitation to all of them multiple times to invite them on. We gave them 10 questions that are hyper-focused on education, because that's what we're protective over, and invited them to come on, gave them the questions ahead of time, let them prepare their statements, and gave them 2 minutes per question to just answer those questions, and they were all invited. So far, one has agreed to come speak, and we're hopeful to get the rest of them done by the end of the week, but we'll see. Pay attention to the gubernatorial race, please. If you are not registered to vote in your primary, you should. 100%. You should 100%. I can advocate for that. I'm not going to tell you who to pick, but wherever you're registered, you must make sure you are registered to vote in your primary. Your voice matters. It does count, whether you think it does or it doesn't. It counts. And right now, I know everyone is scrambling to try to figure out what polls, who's polling, who's it going to be, and your voice matters among that. So go and be heard, fill it out. It does take a couple of days for it to process, and I think July 20th is the last day to be registered for the primaries. So make sure you get it in. That's why we're going to have our podcast go out on the 13th, so that people can listen and have time. If you didn't also see the Patrick Bet-David interview, debate, that was fantastic. It's long. We posted it on our Facebook page. You can go find that link. It's up there as well. It's in our Discord as well. Here. Don't just look at the snippets and the cuts. Everybody loves to make themselves look like the winner. Go get the whole thing. Go watch the whole debate. It's worth it. You'll enjoy every minute of it. My kids were actually listening to it. It just finished, but we did it. We listened to it today for homeschooling. And I'm like, you got to know what's happening in your state. And man, they were actually like engaged and laughing at certain parts and talking about the candidates. And so it's a good educational exercise as well. But that's all I'll say about that. We do continue to work to protect your rights and to be part of the conversation and to help parents be informed. And as such, we also try to get around to all the conventions and conferences. And that kind of brings us to today's other special guests, the Tampa Bay Homeschool Conference Group. So, Kim, your conference is awesome, by the way. And I hear that you've got a lot lined up for it. So I want to give you time. Yeah.
So much
I know
up.
that your time is also very precious right now with everything you've got going on, gearing up for it. So tell us what you would like to tell us to help talk about and promote your event.
I think one of the biggest things that helps us to stand apart is that is a regional conference. The idea is that it is a community coming together to celebrate together, to share information with each other, and to connect with each other. And that's something that is rare. I think we fall into this idea that, oh, we're on this Facebook page together and we have these online conversations and it's so easy to do things through a screen, but you lose so much of the connection when you're doing it that way.
Yeah.
So just to encourage people to just step outside your comfort zone and get there face to face and talk to somebody. It's amazing what can happen. I've seen so many times just these little side conversations that have turned into friendships and turned into business relationships and turned into a
Yeah.
co-op starting. And, those things can only happen when you get face to face. Those things do not happen through a Facebook page. They just don't. There's a time and a place, like we're having this meeting right now thanks to technology, and this would never be happening otherwise. But I can't wait to actually see you all in person. It's going to be so much better. So we have some really great exhibitors lined up, some really great speakers. We're at a new location, so that's really exciting. Our keynotes, I know 8:45 is early for homeschoolers, but Sam Sorbo is going to bring it. So I hope that you guys are there to hear what she has to bring. And we are just so thrilled that Cheryl Bastian is going to be with us as well. Cheryl has been someone that I have followed my entire homeschool journey. And she's just one of those people, like if you feel the weight on your shoulders, which if you're a homeschool mom, I think that's pretty much a guarantee you've got that hanging on there. It just feels lighter when you walk out of a room after listening to her. So, Sam brings the inspiration and just that drive to keep going. And Cheryl brings the inspiration to just trust in what you're already doing. So it's going to be a really interesting balance between the two of them being there. And just a ton of other things in between with the exhibit hall. We're excited. We're
You
really
always
excited.
seem to find the way to include I call them the demographics, but it's kind of like those journey splits. You've got the new people who are kicking tires and going, what is homeschooling really? And let me see if this is anything better than others, or what's it all about, And then you've got the early ones who are, like you said, kind of overwhelmed. They jumped in the pond and realized this is deep.
I can't
and then
swim.
we're like, no, you don't have to. Just stand up. You can stand in this water. This is not that water. Yeah,
Right.
It's great. And you've got some for the veterans, who are looking to kind of enhance and go a little farther or deeper or find a niche. And you put time aside for the young people to do things together as well. Talk a little bit about those.
So one thing that I see is, when we're looking at home education, it's about the kids, right? So we want them to be active in their education. We want them to have some autonomy and ownership over what's happening in their lives. It's part of why we do what we do, is to direct them, but for them to essentially learn how to direct themselves. That's our goal. Our goal is that they're actually directing their own education, and we're there just advising them. So we have a whole lineup of sessions that are just for teens. Like literally the parents aren't even allowed in the room. It is for the kids. And the speakers know coming in that they're going to be speaking directly to the teens, and they prepare something special just for them. Everything from niche things like if you want to go to college and figure out what your dual enrollment needs to look like, to one of my favorites is one of our recent graduates does one called "My Mom Said We're Homeschooling, Now What?" Because there's more and more kids that are getting pulled out of school later and later as their parents are like looking at the school system and saying this isn't working. And then you have these kids who've been publicly educated their entire lives, and then they have no idea what this lifestyle even looks like. So instead of having some, old mom with gray hair up there tell them things that they don't want to hear from someone that looks just like their mom, we have a young person talk to them about their own experience. And then we also have a bunch of sessions that we know that they'll enjoy, so we highlight those for them as well. So they actually have their own page in the program, so they can just go there and look, and they see all the things that are for them. And I think it's a cool way for them to have that autonomy and a little bit of ownership over what's happening in their own education life.
Awesome.
So,
Courtney, are there any special things parents should know before coming, information about registration or things to do, or get this now, or make sure you get this if you have a kid that's that? Is there something technical or admin, or what do you want to tell us?
I would just say definitely, if I know homeschool families like to save money, so my first advice would be to get registered now. We will have tickets available on site, but they will cost more.
Okay.
So definitely get registered now, and it's open through July 11th. So they still have time, and we know homeschoolers like to procrastinate, but
Yeah.
we don't want to forget.
All right. Well, very good.
Yeah, just get registered now.
That sounds great.
And there is a code for anyone that's listening. It's HEF 26 to save a little bit of money. So make sure that if you're listening that you put that code in.
Great.
Yeah.
I know that this is probably a dangerous question to ask, because if I ask it and you answer it, you might hurt someone's feelings. But do you have a favorite vendor that's coming?
I mean, can we take the easy road and say Home Education Foundation?
Yeah, no, go for it. Yeah, I'm here for that. Do that.
But honestly, that's one of the reasons why we started doing this. There was this twofold of recognizing we're the largest homeschool community in the country and didn't have a space just for our people. But also, to your point earlier about freedom, we are comfortable, and we're too comfortable. Our lives are easy. We drive around in our air-conditioned cars and live in our comfortable houses and have plenty of food to eat. And our kids do pretty much whatever they want all day long and learn all these things and can pick from 5 million different curriculums. And we don't even have to think twice about it. And we should be thinking about it every single day, because at any given moment, one bill with the wrong word in it can go through and mess everything up. And so making sure that Home Education Foundation is on the forefront of everyone's minds has been something that we have been striving to do for years. So to be able to have that platform where people can come and connect in person with you and the team and see the reality of what it is that you do and understand how important it is that there is someone whose sole focus is home education in the capital at all times. Because we do live in the best state in the country, I believe, to homeschool, but it's because of the work that Brenda has done and the work that you continue to do. So for those who feel comfortable, I would urge you to be very, very careful
100%.
in that.
Yeah, I couldn't echo that more, but thank you for all the work that you do to put the event together, because it is an amazing event, but it is also an event that helps support us, and we aren't fully funded. It's something that we would love to be there at that place, but also I would love for, you said come meet the team, I would love for that to be like a statement of come meet the team. I would love to see, I've got young people who are interested around the state and helping out or being a part, and we would love to have internships, paid internships, to be able to offer them to come and put their hands on some work and to both volunteer and get Bright Futures hours like they can already do, but also to have some paid internships where we can actually give them meaningful resume-oriented work to build their repertoire and step into something with. And I would love for that to be a thing. I think that's something that we could do, but we are financially quite a ways off from that. So it's just one of those things that there is no lack of vision or dreaming that we can put together, and we have a lot of the tools and infrastructure, but we are bottlenecked on manpower. So it's one of those things that if we have young people who are interested, coming to the events is a great way of seeing what people can do when they come together. That's why I love the conventions and the conferences, and when people get to see it and how big it is and the spirit of homeschooling. When they get together, it's America at its core. It really, truly is.
Yeah.
Mr. Franklin, you had talked
Sir.
last time you were on about these starting the concept of libraries, and you had was the first one above a unique establishment, right? where people would come together and share books after they've already read them, right?
Yeah. Well, the first, I guess you would say, library was with the junta that myself and several other tradesmen in Philadelphia had established. And with books being hard to find and quite expensive, we decided in our rented rooms above a tavern to bring many of our volumes in, and each of us would then be able to share the different volumes. And as it progressed, we thought there are others in the city that may want to avail themselves to the collection of literature. And we started out selling subscriptions or memberships to our what we called our library. And as it grew and we were able to get more books, it became very obvious that this is something that should be open to all the residents of Philadelphia, and as time goes on, maybe even the rest of Pennsylvania and the other colonies, or states. And so that's how we started our private library for the junta, and then over time, I see and quite thrilled that it has grown into where almost any village in this country, you can find a library.
I love it. It reminds me a lot about how a good idea can start and just be so useful. And then as it grows, other people benefit from it. And I think public schools started that way. I think that was kind of the idea that, oh, wouldn't it be great if there was another house and someone was there and the kids could all go there and they could all learn as they're growing up, and we can make sure our kids are smart. And I think in principle and an idea, it makes a lot of sense. Unfortunately, you fast forward to today, and you know, I'm not a public school naysayer. At least I wouldn't say I am. Maybe other people would think I am by the way I speak. I don't see myself as one because I see the value in the education being able to be reached by all. I just think that the power of technology has put it in everyone's pocket so adequately that what the public schools have become is basically just a large babysitter and not so much an educational entity. And I'm really hopeful that with some of the innovations that are coming out of the school choice movement and a lot of the money that's being spent in different ways and experiments people are running, I'm hopeful that, you know, they'll land on something that works better because it needs to work better. I still want parents to be able to teach their own kids and not have to participate if they don't want to. I love that. I fight for that. That's my red, white, and blue. But I really do hope that, you know, sometimes those good ideas start as a good idea and it becomes a good idea, and then it gets turned into something else that everyone's just forced and shackled to be a part of. And, you know, I want to break that shackle. I don't want parents to have to be forced to be a part of it. But if it's a benefit and it's there, great. And I think that, I mean, ultimately that's where we stand and what we stand on. But I appreciate I think I remembered last time you sharing that story, and I thought, man, it's just so interesting to me, the human behavior over time and how something starts as an idea and then it becomes a good idea and then it becomes the only idea. And that's where we struggle. We're struggling there right now, I think. 250 years later, I think that's where we're at. And we'll work the kinks out, especially if we have enough people who love their freedoms and their rights and are willing to speak up for them and stand for them together. I think we'll iron those wrinkles out. So. Please.
If I may interject here, Jason, it just strikes me that, you know, in many ways, we're rediscovering good ideas that were once very commonplace. I mean, the idea of homeschooling to many, perhaps not as much today as 10 or 15 or 20, 30 years ago, seems new and strange and out of the ordinary. And yet you go back to the founding era, and this is the way that Dr. Franklin and many other people were educated. They didn't have this large public school system at the time. And yes, as you point out, there was a movement toward a one-room schoolhouse over time. And what's interesting now is that not only are we seeing more and more families throughout Florida in particular, but really throughout the country, gravitating toward homeschooling, but you also see even in settings where kids come together for schooling of some kind, whether it's co-ops or micro schools or other things, that idea of a small, intimate, one-room schoolhouse idea in some ways has begun to kind of gain momentum as well. And I think many people are, with freedom, coming to the conclusion, you know, maybe there are better ways than these large mass systems of education that we have, and we certainly ought to, at the very least, have alternatives. And we ought to have alternatives that give parents, that put parents in the driver's seat and give them then the freedom to be resourceful. I mean, when you were talking a minute ago about libraries, it just reminded me how, you know, homeschooling families make greater use of public libraries than probably any other group. And it's not just to go and get the books, but oftentimes to hold meetings or gatherings of different kinds. And what homeschoolers prove every day is that if one is resourceful and creative, you can offer your child an education often for far less money than the public schools spend routinely on each child. And I think that's something that you and I, working here as we do in Tallahassee, have to constantly remind legislators, because sometimes people can fall into the trap of thinking, oh, if we just had more money to spend on our public schools, everything would magically turn out better. And homeschoolers every day prove that no, that's actually not the right idea. What we need to do is to empower parents and encourage them to be as resourceful and creative as we see many people in the homeschooling community are.
Yes.
When I first started homeschooling, we were talking about like how much does it cost per child to home educate, right? And I heard someone, and she said, you can homeschool and homeschool well with a good math curriculum, a Bible, and a library card.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you have those things, you're good.
Speaking of resourcefulness, Mr. Franklin, I can't remember who it was, but I think you told me that it was Adams who taught himself French by reading obituaries.
Yes, that was Mr. John Adams when Congress had sent him to the idea was for him to help me in arranging for loans and assistance from the court of France. Mr. Adams, most honest, hardworking gentleman I've ever known, taught himself French by reading the obituaries, where my imperfect French, what little of it that I actually was able to learn, was just from talking with people and listening. And I won't say which of us was the better for it, but I preferred my way of learning a little bit of another language.
It's interesting because I'm thinking about now how, like, there are times when I've enjoyed watching television or a show, and I'll put it in a different language with the subtitles on, so that as the kids watch it and hear it spoken in a different language, they can read it in theirs. And it boosts their reading and comprehension, but it also gives them exposure to another language. And there are lots of just resourceful, they're there already. There's already closed captioning on these things. Like, there's already putting it in another language when you just toggle it and it's there. And we take for granted a lot of that stuff, but being resourceful, man, there's so much that you can do. And it's very founding fatherish, to do stuff like that. Or resourceful is a better word. But no, thank you for sharing those stories with us. And thank you, Kim, for putting the convention, the conference together. There will be a lot of vendors. There will be a lot of people there who will be willing to help parents be resourceful. It's not always just about spending money with the vendors. They're there because that's they're going to benefit from it too. But I've watched the conversations that take place, and I've been a part of them. And there are so many people there willing to just share knowledge and wisdom and connect and follow up afterwards and have pull people under their wing. And if you're somebody who is just, kicking tires on home education, you're not quite sure yet or something like that, definitely coming to one of these events and getting a taste for it. There's the Palm Beach Expo, Homeschool Expo, that's down there. It's small. It's not as large. Let me just put it that way. It's not small. It's larger than a lot of the other ones that are small. But it is a nice sized community, and there are so many people. And I see some of them come back each year, and they give me updates. And they're like, "Oh, now my kid's doing this, or now we're about to start doing that." And it's kind of its own, I don't want to say yearbook, but it's kind of its own thing where I get to, see the faces of the kids that I'm up here lobbying for. And they keep coming back. So if you're new or you're coming back, you don't have to do it just for me, but man, there's a lot that as people kind of go their own ways and then come back together for those annual things, it's really cool. It's very powerful. And it really shows how the community grows over the years. So I think it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, and I think for parents that have been homeschooling for a while, it's interesting as a parent, as your kids get older, you stop becoming a veteran and you become a newbie again with each stage. We've been homeschooling since my oldest was in kindergarten. I've been homeschooling for over a decade at this point. But coming into the high school years and figuring out what these next steps are, I feel like a brand new homeschool mom all over again. When it comes to that stuff. So it's just interesting how part of it too, it's a recognition that no matter where you are in your journey, there's someone ahead of you can learn from and someone behind you can teach. And so by coming to something like the Tampa Bay Homeschool Conference, you're able to do both. You're able to be educated and inspired and empowered for your next steps, but you're also able to educate someone else and inspire someone else and empower someone else to take their next step. Even if you just completed your first year, you have something to offer to someone who's brand new and thinking about it, no matter where you are in your journey. So it's cool to be able to provide a space for that to happen and those connections to be made.
It's been very cool to watch your event grow as well year after year. Well, let's see. You said something about when you get to the high school years, you have other breakouts, not just keynote speakers. I'm not saying just keynote speakers, but because they're cool. Yes.
We have a full day of, so there's 2 morning sessions, 2 afternoon sessions, and there's a
lot.
10 to choose from in each one. Is it 10, Courtney? I think we have 10 rooms this year.
Yeah.
There's a lot. And some of it is homeschool 101. Some of it is just learning and innovation. We're going to have an AI panel with some people in different spaces within however professionally that looks for them. And they're going to just be up there talking about what AI looks for them and sharing information about how to use it responsibly, how to teach your kids to use it responsibly, how it's not going anywhere. So for those of you that are afraid of it, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to get over it because it's here and it's here to stay. So just figuring out what that looks like for you as a family. So that I'm really excited about that one personally. And just there's going to be some cool discussion panels. Jason's going to be giving legislative updates on, by the way, Jason's going to be giving legislative updates on what's been going on this year in Tallahassee. So that way people understand, what that looks like. you name it, probably there's a session on it. So
Yeah, so I think
Yeah.
if you're in that middle and you're just looking for something to spice up homeschooling, it's there for you. If you're at the beginning and you're trying to dip your toe in, it's there for you. And if you're hitting that high school phase and it feels brand new and difficult all over again, there's something there for you as well. So, yeah. Well, thank you guys for being on with us, and I really appreciate having y'all, and I appreciate all the effort that it takes to throw these events together. It's not small work. So, do you need help? Is there any way anyone can volunteer, or is there like a
Oh, for
Talk about
sure. Absolutely. If you go on our website on the FAQ page, there is a link to sign up to volunteer. And anyone who volunteers, you can choose morning or afternoon, and we plug you in. And anyone who volunteers for a full session, I think it's 2 hours is what the increments are. And if you volunteer for a 2-hour increment, then you can either get a rebate off of your convention cost, or you can opt to donate it back to Home Education
Well, I will
Foundation.
100% donate my children to watch the doors for you again this year and check tags. They love that.
Sounds good. Oh, they're so good at it's so funny with the kids, right? It's one of those jobs
They get to have
where
power.
adults feel almost uncomfortable checking tags and making
Yeah.
sure people are doing what they're supposed to do. But
Bro.
those kids, man, they love
sure
telling
do.
people
They
what
get
to
their
do.
time to go after hey, do you have your badge? Yeah. They love their power.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's great.
Yeah, it's good. Good stuff.
And so the quiz game that we'll be running this year, the Spirit of 76, that we put together with the James Madison Institute, the Home Education Foundation, HEF Connect. Let's talk a little bit about it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be a little bit
So
of a
fun.
different layout than we did at FPEA. Do you want to talk about the way people could access it while they're there, Kim?
Yeah, so we'll get something together from Jason, and we'll have there's basically going to be a QR code where if you want to register your kids, we'll have different time frames and increments where you can sign up for quiz games at different times. And so that will be available on the website the day of the event. So there's a whole page on the website for day of materials, exhibitor maps, and the schedule, and that'll be one of those things that can be accessed.
Cool.
And people can sign up for it. They can stop by the Home Education Foundation booth, and they'll have the QR code there where people can sign up there. And everyone, you can just come and hang out and watch the kids. I know some pretty competitive teenage boys,
Great.
So it's going to be fun.
We've got questions that are
One who might try to school Ben
Yeah.
Franklin. We'll see how he does. We'll see how Denton Vincent holds up against Ben Franklin. You might have a run for your money there, though, Dr. Franklin.
We've got some questions that are for the younger. Man, I don't even know if in homeschooling you can't really split them by age. Some of these young kids are just like factoids, walking little encyclopedias. I love it. We've got questions though for those who are not as familiar.
Maybe you could just call it
advanced.
like beginner
Yeah.
or advanced, and
That's
not put an
better.
age
Yeah,
on
yeah.
it. Yeah.
We've got beginner level questions and advanced level questions. So, if you think you've got the stuff and you're advanced, definitely come out. And if you're a beginner, don't be afraid to throw your hat in the ring and come ask some questions, because it's about having fun. It's about sharing the spirit of our 250th anniversary of our amazing country and the independence and the founding fathers, and racing to having your little thing race to the Capitol by answering the questions faster. But it's a lot of fun, and I think they'll enjoy it. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I thank you guys for being on today. All right, is there anything else? We're running close to time. I want to be respectful of everyone's time, especially Kim and Courtney. You guys, you have so much to do. Again, if you want to volunteer, check out their website and go there and to let them know you would like to volunteer. I usually give Brenda the kind of last statement or the last hoorah. But why don't we just go around the panel today, and if there's something that you want to say that maybe you thought to mention or forgot, go ahead and just mention that, and we'll just kind of go around. We'll go Kim, and then Courtney, and then Mr. Franklin and Mr. Maddox.
I would just say, just encouraging you, if you are in the Tampa area and or around, to come check us out. It really is an amazing day to connect with other people. You never know who's going to be there that either needs to hear from you or who you need to hear from. So we hope you choose to come and spend the day with us. And it's at Innisbrook, which is beautiful. So if you want to make a family staycation out of it, then you can let us know and we can connect you with the resort to get a special rate for a nice little weekend getaway. HEF 26 is your promo code. Don't forget that if you hear this to get your tickets. HEF 26.
All right. Thank you. Courtney?
I think Kim pretty much summed it up there. I mean, it's just come out and see us. We love talking to all the families, new and veterans, and we just are excited for this new venue and to see what's going to happen.
Fantastic. Mr. Franklin, thank you for being with us today.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to be here. I am so excited hearing the plans and the way that parents are coming together to educate their children. Because if we don't let our children be educated in the ways and how our country began, then it could easily be lost. Mm-hmm. And with that, and celebrating the 250th birthday or the anniversary of our adopting the Declaration of Independence, I will say huzzah.
Huzzah, yes. Mr. Maddox.
It's hard to follow that, but I'll just simply say this. As excited as I am about the conference itself and about the game, I do want people to know that if you or your children are not interested in playing the game, be sure you come by the booth nevertheless, because we will have materials, including pocket constitutions, pocket declarations of independence, and other materials that can help them learn more about founding principles and founding ideals. So take advantage of all the sessions as well as the exhibit booths and whatnot, because it should be a really helpful, constructive, fun day, and I'm looking forward to it.
Me
Can't
too.
wait to be there.
And thank you all for being with us today on the podcast. I'm going to go ahead and start rolling us out. I want to say thank you to all of our top sponsors, Arete, FPEA, Fisher Precious Metals, and TBHC Group. I want to say thank you to the parents of the free state of Florida for all the sacrifices that you make to educate your children, to pour into them. Remember that history. If we lose that history, we lose a lot. And being able to anchor ourselves by reminding ourselves of our history is great, but you are the history. Your relationship with your children is the history of their lives. And recapturing that, home educating, making those moments matter, that's where it's at. Without further ado, I'll let you have your Monday back. Thank you. Please join us again next week. We will be hosting and posting the uncut videos, interviews with the gubernatorial candidates. We sent out an invitation to all of them to answer a couple of key questions from the home education community, and we hope you'll tune in to get those. It'll probably be a mega episode where we'll just link them back to back and let them roll, and then we'll do an intro and an outro. But if you're interested in hearing what they have to say about education and interested in seeing who actually shows up to talk about education issues, that might also matter. All right, we'll see you next week.